Hey guys, what's up? Rob Mods here. We've got another episode of Your Shop today, which I'm excited about. We've got NotTheAstrid with us. He's a player that just started playing a couple of months ago with the Steam launch, and so we're excited to feature his shop today and talk about what he's doing. So you should be able to hear him now.
Hey, Rob. Hey, everyone. So glad to be here.
There we go. So if you just want to go through your shop, kind of what's going on with you, and we'll get into it.
Sure. I want to zoom in on all these bins out here so Latterus gets a good look and freaks out. Do not usually have all these bins out. Today's been a busier day than usual, and so I haven't had a lot of time to just focus on selling. And we just had better deals. So quite frankly, I was a little burned out, and my inventory was down. So I've just been logging on a little bit today to craft, and then not really sell much.
Okay. So what's your normal amount of like bins to racks that you have out?
So I think during the day, because I'm working a little bit, I usually have pretty much this setup with bins. I have max of everything except the ether because I don't really need them, and each of these later ones are 50 million each.
Mm-hmm.
In the evening when I'm selling, I used to have one each of the basic ones so I could craft fodder. Then I realized that I should be just basically requesting like tier one fodder.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing that. So I've been dropping it down to 0 bins, and those all get replaced with mannequins.
Okay. Cool. So you pretty much have like a late game setup with like bins and racks and stuff just without having everything like fully upgraded, which is actually really cool. Like I didn't start doing that until I hit like 6,000 energy or something. So you're ahead of the game, you know.
Well, I don't know if I'm ahead or behind because I'm trying to play like you guys, but like I can't because
Yeah.
I max energy at 2,000.
Yeah. So in terms of like what your gameplay looks like and stuff right now, is there anything specific that you're working on or that you're like working towards right now?
So I guess if I go to the city view, so you have a look at where our guild's at. Our guild isn't like super high level. I think when I came in here, this was level 12, and so it took a lot of work to level to 13. So now
Oh
my
yeah.
my heroes have only been able to wear tier 9 gear for about a week. As far as my shop, uh, I think I mentioned this to you. Thank you slash curse you for telling me that shop expands go all the way up to 80. So I spent some money, and yeah, basically you could see that I maxed it out to 80. Uh,
Yes.
so, so so I have a bunch of these mannequins that are sitting at mostly level 4 and level 3, and I've
Okay.
been slowly leveling them up to 6, not just for the energy but for the additional storage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know if I should be prioritizing that or leveling up some of these bins a little bit more, such that
Okay.
I can go down to like 3 and 3,
Mm-hmm.
and then just leave it like that and craft all the time.
Yeah.
I would say right now storage is a big issue for me, even
Okay.
though I'm running 5 chests.
Yeah. What's your like mastering slash crafting rotation look like right now?
So I have focused on daggers. Um, so for daggers, I've gone up to 9, and I've ascended. I
Oh,
think
okay. Nice.
yeah, I have 15ish. I think this one was 18. I screwed up because I wanted to ascend the tier 9, which
Oh
later
yeah.
on I'm correcting was a mistake. But um, so I've ascended to 15 daggers, to 13 crossbows. Um, and even though it's a little bit weird that I have this tier 7 ascended, it's actually made a lot of money and helped during a
Mm-hmm.
particular phase, so I don't regret it.
Yeah.
Um, Boots, I don't recall how far have I ascended these. I guess
15
that's
as well.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other crafting rotation was herbs,
Yeah.
which is not ascended yet.
Okay.
One of the things that I sort of wish we had done this a week ago or like 3 days ago, because I sort of like panic switched and used all the ascension shards I got from Lost City of Gold to start ascending spirits,
Okay.
which is weird because there isn't like a discount bonus for spirits, so you kind of have
Yeah.
to like send it all the way,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know when I'm going to get those. So that might have been a mistake.
Yeah.
But
Okay, cool. Looks good though. Yeah, I find it really interesting because at first, when I was looking at your bins, I was like, man, why the heck does he have five out? Like, that seems crazy. But honestly, for me, especially when I was crafting all the time, which I do less of now because I've just been focusing on net worth, but honestly,
Yeah,
my biggest goal with getting a lot of resources was that if I am crafting throughout the day, the most efficient thing for me to do is to be able to log in and start 12 items like
yeah,
back to back to back to back, right? And not have to wait for resources. So if I can't log in for another hour or something, all those items will be done and then I can start another 12. So that's going to be the most profitable for me to be doing throughout the day. So for you, it just looks different because you don't have those bins upgraded as much as I did.
right,
But for you,
exactly.
you're getting close to the point that you are able to start those 12 items right away. So it
Yeah,
actually makes a lot of sense for you to have those out right now, even if down the road, things get up to a high enough level that you can get rid of the majority of them. But for
right.
now, I think it actually does make a lot of sense. As much as you look at it and cringe a little bit, I think it makes sense.
With what my schedule is during the day, this makes more sense because I can't sit here and sell
Yeah,
usually.
I'm the
And
same
in the
way
night,
normally.
yeah, in the night when I can sit and sell, then all these go away.
Yeah, it makes sense. What are your heroes looking like at this point?
I have a couple berserkers. I have one that is has 3 gold skills, no rerolls. I'm pretty happy with that
Really?
one. Yeah. Let me find it. Yes. And there are
What?
yeah, so I rerolled initially just to get that first gold skill. But then so I've gotten vulnerable, and then this thing popped up, and then this thing popped up.
That
And
is
so if I get lucky,
crazy.
yeah, if I get like safe kept or something, then yeah, I'm gonna lose my mind. Maybe buy a lottery ticket that day.
Oh, so is level 27 the max for your heroes right now, or is it 29?
Yes.
Okay.
27 at this training level, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Just barely enough to wear tier 9s at level
Oh, yeah,
26.
26. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. One thing on the heroes I do have questions about. I currently have, I think, like it's either 3 or 4 rangers, and I like them, and they're pretty beefy, and some of them have pretty good skills. But I'm wondering if they should be traded out for, say, geos or
Yeah, I don't
berserk.
know. I mean, honestly, if you get to the point that you're finishing Delta Tower, you can just use the soul on one of these rangers, and it's
Right.
going to be basically a tier 7 with good skills that you've already put lots into. So, I
Yeah.
mean, that works, but you can only do that once a month, right? So, it's kind of up to you
Yeah.
what you want to do. I mean, that's the interesting thing is that Soul put such an interesting element to this game that the lower tier of heroes aren't just trash anymore, but they're actually
Right.
worthwhile keeping if you've got good skills and you want to keep it.
Do you happen to know if you use a soul on one of these heroes that has only 3 skills, does it unlock the 4th skill?
Nah, you
If
still
you
have to be level 35.
okay,
Yeah.
that's good to know.
Yeah, unfortunately. So what would you say is one of your biggest struggles right now? Like obviously you said upgrades for everything, storage.
I have a lot of low-level legendaries,
Oh yeah, wow.
and that's probably cluttering my storage. Some of the low-level ones I picked up for gold in the market, thinking, "Oh, they're selling
Oh
these
yeah,
for
okay.
gold." Um, and I think I also had this idea that, okay, what I would do is maybe craft a set or like have a set where it would like give enough of a power boost to a level 1 hero that I wouldn't have to just, that I would
Oh
be able
yeah.
to level it up quickly.
Yeah, I did the
Something
same thing too for a while. When I was getting new heroes, I just have like sets of like tier 1 gear to tier 2, tier 3
right.
so that basically I just hit, optimize and that hero's ready to go. So it's not going to die on the lower level quests. Like yeah, I did the same thing for sure, but at a certain point, yeah, you got to start clearing some stuff out.
Yeah. And I love the market. Oh my goodness. It brings out like bad parts of me, I
Yeah.
think. But I love being able to like hoard components here and then
Mhm.
manipulate it and stack stuff, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm not great at converting gems to sorry, gold to gems.
Mhm.
Uh,
It
so I
takes a
hope
long
you get
time to
that.
learn.
Are
Dude,
you really gonna give away your trade
I'm
secrets?
telling you, I don't want to, but I promised it. And like, yeah, I think like I already started making videos for it and stuff. And I've been like both recording video for it and like screenshotting tons of stuff, like all of my market sales and like things that I look for and stuff. And I have like 30 or 40 screenshots of different things. And I think I'm going to tell like everything that I can.
Uh, it's like a magician really like telling his secrets. Other
I
magicians might
know.
not be so happy
I
about that.
know. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, that's the thing too, is that I find new things all the time, and some of the old things that I used to do a lot on market have actually dried up almost completely.
Right.
Where there was some methods that I would use that I was able to get like seriously like 300 to 500 gems a day for cheap,
Wow.
like 10K a gem or something. And nowadays, I might be able to get like 25 gems a day from that same thing, just because
Right.
the market's changed so drastically. As much as I'll do like a full market guide right now, I'm sure there's updates of new things that I'll find or new thoughts that I have on it that will be more relevant down the road.
Right. Right. That's a good point.
So, since you have all of your shop expands done,
Hmm.
what would you say is the next thing that you want to be spending gems on?
When I first started, and I decided I liked this game enough that I was going to go ahead and buy all the starter packs. And
Okay.
so I have a big advantage over a lot of people who started out, like definitely over anyone who started out free to play
Mm-hmm.
or who didn't do those, because it came with a few shop expands and 11 craft slots. So
Wow.
yeah,
Really? Dude, I did not know that.
yeah.
Wow.
And so that has been a massive advantage. So yeah, I've got 11 spots. The 12th one will cost 10,000
Oh,
gems, and quite frankly, I've decided that's not really important.
like let's say you're crafting throughout the day.
Yeah.
Um, so you mentioned those 4 lines that you had started to ascend. Are you pretty much only crafting in those lines right now, or are you still working on mastering stuff? So press the craft button. It'll say
Yeah.
plus, yeah. And then that little green
Oh, that's
thing, yeah, just press it and then it
okay.
brings you over to the other menu.
Oh, that's amazing. Thanks.
Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, so to answer your question, I think now that I have a decent amount of blueprints and I've hit tier 9 on my main lines, I
Oh
am
yeah.
slowly unlocking these, still mastering a couple of these.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when I'm scarce on resources, like for instance, I'm struggling to get thread right
Oh
now
yeah.
from Haunted Castle. What
Mm-hmm.
I'll do is I'll slowly start mastering some of these other ones.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. Do you ever discount items in order to rush crafts?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think I need to credit one of your videos because I didn't know about that until I saw one of them. And that
Oh,
has helped a tremendous amount.
yeah, it
Uh,
changes everything, hey?
yeah, I'm cheap, and so I discount tier 1 stuff, but you can
Yeah.
discount like a tier 5 and do that.
Yeah. And
Uh,
I mean, honestly, if you're making 100K profit on an item, even if you're spending 20K on an item to discount and speed it up, it doesn't matter because you're just making more money anyways.
One of the things I'm figuring out in this game, even though I have a decent amount of time to play compared to a lot of people I imagine and a lot of my guildmates, is that time really is a resource that is not on the screen. And so things that
Mm,
make us more efficient, um, it's easy to underestimate things that make us more
mm-hmm.
efficient. I don't know how I hit upon this number. I have 4 tables, 4 weapon racks, 4 shelves, and the rest are mannequins. I don't know if that's going to be a good mix towards the end.
Yeah, it's fine.
Or,
Yeah, I only have 3 of each furniture type available
mhm.
to customers to reach, and all the rest
Okay.
just carry fodder items. So the only
Okay.
difference for you would just be that all of your fodder items are the mannequin items instead of all the other ones. But
Right.
basically, I would only need 3 of each type to like make the square that I make to have a closed concept shop, and everything else could just be mannequins. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So yeah, it's perfect. I
Okay.
mean,
So you mentioned it. Uh, let's wade into this. I had a closed shop until about a week and a half ago,
okay.
and then I saw Latterus's stream, and I switched to an open shop because I was having a hell of a time keeping my fodder items separate from my selling items
Okay.
because I also include some fodder items in selling it. And so
Yeah.
I decided I don't know what the truth is as far as the efficiency,
Mm-hmm.
how customers queue,
Yeah.
but I'd say in terms of inventory management, it's just been far easier
Okay.
this way.
Yeah, so I didn't change over into a closed shop until I was like really, really late game. Like
Hmm.
until the point that it was just too difficult to put all of my racks and stuff out and still have walkways in between because customers were just running into each other constantly
Right.
and like leaving the shop because I just didn't have enough physical space in the shop to keep it an open concept. So that's why I switched
Hmm.
it. But I think for me, the main reason that I like it better is just because customers have less distance to walk. Like, let's say they go to one rack and they don't find anything that they want. They could walk to the opposite corner of the shop, look at a plant, say, oh, nice plant, give you 10 energy, and then walk all the way back to something on the opposite side to find another item. Like they're so stupid that they'll just keep walking around forever before choosing something. So especially when I'm trying to get through customers as quickly as possible, like for net worth and stuff, it just makes more sense because they choose something quicker and get to your counter quicker. But also, I was kind of in the same boat where I'm like, how do I manage the balance between fodder items and items that I want to surcharge? Because I mean, that balance is basically just how many items do I have of each out available for customers to choose and just hope that they choose the ones that I want, right?
Right.
So for me now, because I'm one-shotting tier 9s, I literally only want them to choose the tier 9 items that I have available to sell. So it's not actually me wanting them to choose half fodder and half tier 9s or whatever your balance is. It's just I only want them to choose these ones. So even just for that, when you hit really late game, I think having a closed concept just makes the most sense because then everything doesn't need to have space in between it and you can just pack things in. And I think for me too, that makes it a lot easier to be putting out resource bins and stuff when I can have a larger amount of space at the back to be putting
Hmm.
things out and putting things away. It allows it to be easier than trying to like cram everything in perfectly.
I do have one question.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the vast majority of the gold that I'm making is from surcharging in shop.
Yeah.
I make comparatively little money in the market.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm selling all my tier eights, tier nines here.
Mm-hmm.
I enchant them. I enchant them with mostly tier seven enchants.
Good.
Once the tier nines start getting a little cheaper, maybe I'll do it. But it looks
Mm-hmm.
like the margins are a little better on the tier sevens
Yeah. Oh, for
on average.
sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't seen profitability in tier 7 enchants in a really long or tier 9 enchants, sorry, in a really long time, but tier
Uh,
7s 95% of the time are still profitable.
no, I assume that selling in shop and surcharging is fine. The
Yeah.
market's maybe a little less reliable.
No, I think it's the best move for sure. I mean, for me, I
Okay.
literally don't sell anything on the market at all unless I'm getting over double base value after
Right.
tax. Like
Right.
there's no point in doing it. I mean, sometimes when I'm trying to get through net worth really quickly, and I'd rather be selling an item for 2.2 million than like 700k. You
Right.
know what I mean? Because I'm not enchanting every single tier 9, that I might sell it on the market and lose like 100k compared to what I would get from surcharging just because I'm getting rid
Right.
of like one item at a time that some random guy just sold me in the shop. But in
Right.
general, I sell everything in my shop other than what I'm going to be getting either gems or over double value out of. Market is good to supplement and to make money or to be getting gems out of or like to be getting components or even like let's say requesting a tier 9 item to get it cheaper because then you're making more off of it. I do that all the time too of just let's say request a bunch of whatever bows that I'm selling. Normally I get them 700k and often if I request 25 of them in the morning there'll be 25 of them like there and I got them for 600k instead. So essentially I'm getting an extra 2.5 million just from leaving that overnight instead. Like if I don't have enough offers making gems overnight. It's interesting
Okay.
because so many people have different concepts about what you should be discounting. Like I had
Mm.
guildmates a while ago that said you should be discounting tier 8s to get um, energy faster to sell tier 9s. And
Really?
I completely disagree. 100%. But it's just the way that they
I
play because they think, oh, if I can sell faster, get through customers faster, sell tier 9s faster, then I'm making more money. But I'm thinking, rather than selling that on market for 400k, you're discounting it and only getting 100k out of it. Like you're losing
Right.
300k, and there's no way that you're making that 300k back on a tier 9. I don't care how fast you're selling. So in my mind, it's still using a customer, which so you're not making anything faster. You're losing
Right.
300k on that item. So ultimately, I think bottom line, that's just a bad decision.
So this has 155 discount energy.
Yeah.
I know these vary a little bit, but this tier 8 has 310 discount energy.
Hmm.
So that's a pretty big jump, but there's also a pretty big, I think the percentage jump in price is bigger.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say like 3 or 4 tiers below maybe is the sweet spot.
And that's why everyone says like you got to have a high max energy, because whatever energy that you get from each small talk is just less things that you have to discount to get an energy to surcharge something.
Right.
So I mean that's got to be priority. And then I mean once you hit a certain threshold of energy, then discounting is probably going to change. Where let's say you're trying to be surcharging tier 9s and you've got 2500 energy, the
Right.
things that you're going to be discounting for that is going to be very different than what you would be surcharging, let's say if you have 3500 energy. Like I think as you
Right.
progress in game and as you move forward, what you do, what you sell, how you do it is going to actually change quite a bit, even week to week, depending on how you decide to optimize your play. I remember I had like an Excel sheet back in the day, like when I was first starting, for like tier 1 to 5 items, and calculating like if I'm discounting and selling this item, I'm losing even like 300 gold, but I'm getting 20 energy. So that energy cost me 15 gold each or something. And then saying,
Uh,
okay, if I'm surcharging this tier 4 and it's costing me 200 energy, I don't know the numbers obviously, or 100 energy, but I'm making this amount, I'm making 40 gold per energy. So my
right.
spread is X, you know? So I was
Wow.
trying to figure out like what is the most optimal way that I can do it. Like yeah, man, I was nerding out so hard on that stuff at the start.
Oh, I have a slightly weirder guild management question.
Okay, shoot.
Um, I hope I don't get in trouble for this. So, uh, basically, I've been trying to encourage some of my guildmates that maybe are a little lower on the investment pool
Mm-hmm.
to request stuff from me, right? Request the best stuff they can. That's not
Okay.
a like a not a blueprint that I don't have.
Yeah.
Just so I can like give them stuff
Yeah.
so they can build up their shop and stuff like that. But people are pretty reluctant to take it. I don't know if it's because we all play this because we like the grind,
Mm-hmm.
or if I'm approaching it the wrong way. Um, any recommendations on like educating like the lower level guild players that this is an option and they should take advantage of it?
I mean,
Right.
it's
Right.
actually very similar with what we've had in our guild lately, where Dane has been saying, "Hey guys, I've got lots of playtime. I'm kind of reaching like super end game where, he's got every hero maxed out, like best in slot legendaries, fully enchanted. Like he's decked out completely, and
Right.
so he's
And
saying
what's
like
left?
he's saying I have every blueprint in the game. He's got every pack, everything's mastered, and then saying, you guys, can you request items and I'll just fill the request. I'll try to craft it. You know what I mean? And so I have 3 heroes that we're trying to get full legendaries on, and he's provided me with like over half of what I need, just
Wow.
because he wants to. And for us at the start, it was kind of the same thing where we're like, no, dude, it's fine. Like, you don't have to do that. Do your own thing, enjoy. And he
Hmm.
says, no, I want to do this. It's something to fun for me to do. It's another goal because right now
Right.
I'm kind of maxed out on every other goal that I have. So
Hmm.
I think helping each other in game and in guild is a really cool aspect of this game that we can take advantage of. Um,
Right.
but obviously in every different context, it's going to be different.
Right. Hey, I'm gonna be on TV. We'll see if they
Perfect.
read that.
Yeah, we'll see.
But
We'll see if that makes it in the video too. Joking, joking. And
I'm
that's the
shocked.
thing too. When tier 9 first came out, you could sell even like a superior, like a green item for like five
Mhm.
times the base value. Like you could get a lot
Oh,
more out of items, but now tier nine's been out for so many months that like legitimately 3 out of 4 of my normal crafting rotation, I'll sell epics in my shop for gold
hmm,
because they're not going to sell on market for more than double, or even if it is with tax, I might be making like a couple hundred k. So it's just easier for me to just sell that in shop and not even really think about it. The only one that actually sells for more than that, like epics and legendaries, is the boots. And otherwise,
hmm,
I sell everything except legendary in my shop for gold. I mean, honestly, the market's usually pretty accurate in terms of what you're going to get out of an
right,
item. And if it's not listed for a ton more than what double is, you're probably not going to end up getting a whole lot more than that at this point in time. Like, for the most part, the only really valuable items that you're going to get out of a flawless is probably a best in slot item. Whether it's like
right,
an item from a pack or the boots or like just something that people need for heroes that's best in slot. And otherwise, people aren't generally going to pay more than double for it. So for the most part, it's worthwhile to just get rid of it, sell it, get the gold out of it, and clear up some inventory space.
right. Because these are free to play items and everyone's got them, that we're just not going to be able to sell these for gems.
Yeah, and they don't have the stats. Like if you look for
Right,
best in slot, like let's say a shield for example, it's just going to have defense and it's not going to have as high
right,
defense. Whereas a best in slot item that's coming from a pack, you've got defense and attack, you've got defense and health, you've got a defense and evasion. Like there's
right,
probably going to be 4 other shields that are going to be better in that slot than your shield is. So I
right,
think that's really the biggest motivation for people to be buying packs is because the craft that you're now crafting is going to be the best in slot for some hero. So if you get a legendary, especially in a brand new pack, you might get 6, 7, 800 gems out of it. Whereas if
mhm,
you're crafting just a normal free to play item, you might get 50 or 100 gems out of it, right? So
right.
that's why most people are going to be buying packs is to be able to craft the newest best in slot item. All right, man. So I think that'll pretty much be it for us for today. So let me just go over a couple of thoughts and closing recommendations for you going forward. So first of all, just want to say, man, you're obviously a really smart player and you understand like end game stuff. You've obviously watched a lot of end game players and how they do things and how they optimize things and stuff. And even you being a player who just started a couple months ago, but already at the point of having, 80 furniture slots and wanting to switch back and forth from like full resources and full energy, like you obviously have a good handle on what things are supposed to look like end game. So, obviously it's going to take a lot of time for you to be upgrading all of your bins and your racks and all that kind of stuff. So, as you're kind of progressing and moving forward, I think the first goal is going to be to have your resource bins to the point that you're able to craft the 11 items or whatever when you log in. And then, once you have them up to a higher level, then you can start removing them to the point that you have 3 tier 1 resources and 2 tier 2 resources. And then at that point, you have to be switching over less back and forth between racks and bins. And
Okay,
then once once you have more mannequins and everything's a higher level, obviously your storage is going to increase because you have all your mannequins leveled up. Like when you hit level 11 for everything, you get like 12 storage from each one. So your storage starts to escalate really quickly. So at that point, you're able to probably only go down to 3 chests or something, which will give you a bit more space as well. And then, I mean, from there, it's pretty much just a matter of upgrading all of your mannequins and all the shelves and everything um, up as you go. And obviously, keep mastering things as you go. And you've kind of got your crafting rotation figured that you want, which is awesome. You've already started ascending it. So, yeah, man, things are looking really good. You've obviously got a good handle. And as you progress, I think your balance of furniture will start to iron itself out a little bit. Any closing thoughts or anything?
um, just that I've depended heavily upon you and many other members of the community for advice on how to do this. So thank you so much. You are an indispensable member of the community, and I don't know if it's healthy for you to be playing as much as you are and filming as much as you are, but I'm benefiting from it. So thank you so much, Rob.
Yeah, man, my pleasure. I appreciate it. Sweet. Well, thanks so much for jumping on.
No
Kind of last
problem.
minute here with me too. That's awesome. And yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you,
Yeah.
viewers, for watching. Of course, as always, we appreciate it. And if you want to be part of this series at any time in the future, please feel free to reach out to me on Discord. And love to have you guys. So yeah, have a great day. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Totally awesome, folks. It's totally awesome, folks. You should do it. He cuts out the part where he screams at me.
Yeah, it's true. I do. I don't let that be public, so it's good. All right, guys. Later.